4 years, we have together navigated uncharted waters. The 8th Parliament, distinguished by its equal representation between the two major political parties, stood as a bold experiment. We broke barriers, setting new benchmarks in parliamentary openness, accountability. I say, to God be the glory. Honorable members, when you January 2021, I came to take the chair with no doubt in my mind on Parliament to work in harmony. In my remarks to Parliament, after I had taken my oath as Speaker, I requested of us all to prioritize, and I want to quote this: consultation, accommodation, and consensus building on matters of public interest. I promise that I will, I quote, submit myself to the will of the House and pledge to serve our dear country, to serve you and all Ghanaians faithfully, and to conscientiously discharge my duties as Speaker of Parliament. I further promise to hold on 15 January 2021, a welcome address to the reconvened sitting of the first meeting of Parliament are touched on 5 core areas of parliamentary life. These include a special message to first-time members of Parliament, advice to members who become ministers of state, the expectations of the people of Ghana, of the 8th Parliament, a focus of impartiality of the Speaker. Reflecting on my message in these 5 areas 4 years on, I observed how prophetic the message became. And it still amazes me how those issues I raised have turned out during the last one of the 8th Parliament. You. Honorable members, I must say, some of you heeded this call and have been rewarded with a new term in Parliament at the just ended elections. To those of you who have been privileged to return to the 9th Parliament must be as long as and I hope first-time members-elect who may be watching today's proceedings will take a cue and bear in mind that the day of accountability to the people is a short 4 years from tomorrow, the 7th of January, 2025. Honorable members, in that address 4 years ago, I also emphasized the expectation of the people of Ghana of this 8th Parliament. In denying both the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress single-party control of the legislative branch in the 2020 elections, Ghanaians were simply instructing the political class to chart a new path, to embark on new ways of transacting parliamentary business, which is nothing else but the business of the people. I reminded members of the call of the voters on us to disband the party-first mindset and mentality. I stressed the call on us to work together as a family with a common purpose. I must say, this Parliament did some amazing work through lots of bipartisan consultations and cooperation. But I note with regret how the same Parliament allowed what I then described as the unbridled partisanship and partisan polarization that has taken root in our politics and are giving our option of multi-party democracy a bad name. The people of Ghana are the better judges, and I leave that to them. Four years ago, you all recall there was a gripping fear that the 8th Parliament Honorable Member, I want to listen to you when you finish your call. 4 years ago, there was a gripping fear that the 8th Parliament would be either an obstructionist or a rubber stamp Parliament. I'm happy today the leaders have given a view which is mixed feelings. Others say it was a rubber stamp, but others and I think that's the general view. I think this is an achievement. I am satisfied that, and I believe I have courageously discharged this assurance to the administration and admiration of many in Ghana and the world over. My impartiality is not in doubt. It's only those who are not objective that will think otherwise. I have endeared myself to be fair, impartial, and firm in the handling of the business of the House over the last 4 years. Now, let me delve into what we have been able to collectively do in this Parliament over the last 4 years. Despite, as I said, I will not go into the details because the handing over notes of the clerk to Parliament and the annual reports of the Parliamentary Service have copiously referred to these matters. But Ghanaians will remember that we started the 8th Parliament with a backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic, which had members of Parliament starting the journey with frequent medical examinations on them, their families, staff of the Parliamentary Service, and the parliamentary community, such as the medical, the police, fire, ambulance, and other security personnel. And so when you talk about Parliament, it's not only members of Parliament, it's not only the staff of the Parliamentary Service, but all these public servants are counted as part of the institution of Parliament. Without them, we will not be able to perform our functions. You recall how we had to isolate those of you who were tested positive, and how some of you almost lost your lives as a result of this COVID-19 pandemic. We are compelled to, from time to time, direct that some of you and some members of staff should proceed on leave in order to decongest the presence of Parliament. In the midst of all this, we proceeded to organize orientation workshops for both the new and continuing members of Parliament on their roles and responsibilities, the code of ethics, the conduct of parliamentary business, privileges and immunities of Parliament, members and officers of Parliament, and how to process and approve financial appropriations, among others. And I believe we satisfactorily performed these functions. Despite these challenges, the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic actually hit the ground running with the swearing in of His Excellency the President and providing annual platform for him to deliver the State of Nations address. Apart from scrutinizing annual budgets, after embarking on the post-budget workshops, we also proceeded to hold public hearings of nominees of the President, and it was not only with regard to members of the executive, but also those of the judicial arms of government. But at the end of the day, we had 399 sittings, including today's sitting. We're able to pass 60 bills out of 100 that was presented to the House. 22 of them are still before committees. 6 are at second reading and 4 at consideration stage. 8 of them were withdrawn by the sponsors. Out of the 60 bills that were passed, 5 were private members' bills, setting the baseline record of private members' bills in Ghana. The address. I will not be able to read all because it also captures instruments and regulations, bilateral agreements, contracts, financial, motions, resolutions, and everything that we did as parliamentary business, including the rulings of the Speaker of Parliament. So I want to invite members to take time to go through this address to know at least a bit of what you have achieved within these 4 years. Sometimes these are unknown to the people you serve, and they only see Parliament when the small lenses of the cameras bring to them the few glimpses on the TV, and they think that is what Parliament is made of. So it's important that you take some time to go through yourself to advocate and educate our people. But let me mention some very important legislation we passed. One is the Affirmative Action Gender Equity Act. The other is the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, which did not receive the assent of His Excellency the President. We passed a very important law on the public financial management of this country, and also on criminal offenses amendment bills. The very important ones are those dealing with witchcraft. We have passed a bill against witchcraft. We've also passed a bill abolishing the death penalty. And we have also decriminalized attempted suicide. These are key legislations that have to be brought to the attention of the people who represent here, because they are going to correct many of the ills of our society. And they are groundbreaking bills, which many countries have sought some support to try and emulate our good example. It is because of these bills that we're able to convince the global community to give Ghana a seat in the Human Rights Council of the United Nations. It's unfortunate that some people took a different view, and some of these bills did not receive the assent of His Excellency the President. The 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic would take on board. One is the Constitution Amendment Bill. 2, the International Business and Economic Transactions Bill. 3, the Interstate Succession Bill. 4, the Budget Bill. 5, Parliament Bill. 6, Parliament Transition Bill. 7, Parliamentary Service Bill. 8, Spousal Rights Bill. These are very, very important legislations that are of, or I should say, that need urgent attention. Now, we had to perform an oversight function. That was the place that we had some clashes with the executive arm of government. But it's important for me to note this, that although Ghana's parliament, under this 4th Republican dispensation, has often scored low marks when it comes to performing its oversight function, simply due to the excessive executive overreach. This 8th Parliament has proven that there is hope for proper executive oversight by the legislative branch of government. With the hung Parliament, we have had many instances of the House against the interests of the Ghanaian people, where the majority leader, the leader of the House, itemized some of those businesses. It was not just the minority that stood against it, but some members of the majority also agreed that they were not in the interest in exercising oversight over the government. We resisted a vote of censure against a minister of finance, and it found favor with members of government. Make a call, a very passionate call to His Excellency the President to do what? To remove the Minister of Finance procurement contract. And we investigated a number of petitions. And on your behalf, I want to applaud the work of the Public Accounts Committee. They did a very good job, and very soon it will be disclosed how much has been retrieved by the state that would have been lost if not for the vigilance chair of the Public Accounts Committee in the person of Honorable James Kruje Abeji. Honorable members, we had 225 committee sittings.
Thank you.
The details are in the report. We also filed a total of 1,449 questions. And ministers answered many of them, but not all. We had 109 statements in the first session, 122 in the second session, 113 in the third session, and only 51 in the fourth session. And that gives us a total of 395 statements. Honorable members, let me underscore the debacle that happened on the 7th of January 2021. I'm referring to the unruly behavior of some members of Parliament, which caused chaos and commotion in Parliament, including the violation of the dignity and aura of Parliament by the intrusion of armed soldiers on the floor, and the breaches of the sanctity of a vote leading to my election as Speaker of Parliament, and these are instances that are regrettable. And I want to, on your behalf, apologize to the good people of Ghana to forgive us for our sins. Let me just mention a few developments in the parliamentary service. I'm sure many of you have heard that if for nothing, the parliamentary service staff as of today are more motivated, inspired, and hopeful for their future than before. The leaders of both the majority and minority caucuses have, over the period under my leadership for the parliamentary service of Ghana, we have also created opportunity. Institution of Parliament is enabled. We were helped in this direction by the Corporate Strategic Plan 2020 to 2024 we inherited from the 7th Parliament. And so we rolled out a new organizational structure and a grading system for the parliamentary service. We're able to elongate the organogram to create a career progression which was imposed by a short run that got stagnated in one position for 20 to 21 years with a process of looking at welfare support for members of parliament, because under the laws of Ghana, the parliamentary service is to provide some welfare support for members of parliament. This is not covered under Article 71. There are matters that may be made available here for you to be able to perform your duties and handle your responsibilities very well. We have also now finalized the structure, and we are servicing a parliamentary training institute for the Parliament of Ghana. We have completed the construction of the offices for the Parliamentary Training Institute and also a development office which will provide additional office accommodation to enable us absorb technical personnel to capacitate Parliament to be able to render some new services that are imposed on us. An example is the fact that now we have to provide fiscal responsibility analysis for every bill to be able to do this. We have also reconfigured and refurbished the upper part of this chamber block and converted it. Just have a site of it where you can trace the history, the unique history of the Parliament of Ghana from before the colonial intervention up to date. We have restructured the committee system, and now you have 6 cluster organized subject matter areas. We have the Finance and Economic Committees cluster, Infrastructure and Security Committees, the government and other few and Fiscal Analysis Office. And we have also improved the IT system. And so very soon, not your voices again when the question is put. And we believe that the 9th Parliament will have the benefit because of the security situation. We have to up the size and provide firewalls against cyber security attacks. So, honorable members, those of you who were born before computer, the BBC, you have to up your game. Very soon, the Parliament of Ghana will go paperless. That part of the qualifications of being a member of Parliament is to be a computer literate. Honorable members, it's important for me to also note that we have created a Citizens Bureau as part of the Open Parliament initiative to ensure we maintain a constant link to the people we represent and serve. We established a Law and Governance Division, which is a specialized area where legal services and governance support services will be given to Parliament. And that is why we established units such as the Human Rights, Anti-Corruption, and Investigation units in this House. And these are meant to serve the new committees that we've established, such as the Parliamentary Committees on Human Rights, Legal and Constitutional, Judiciary, that work on corruption, the Ways and Means Committee, the Security and Intelligence Committee. All these new committees need technical support, and so we have made provision for that. It's with all these developments that this Parliament was adjudged the most open parliament in Africa. I must say that our interactions with civil society organizations, including the think tanks, have shown a marked improvement in our relationship. And they have provided a lot of technical support for the work we do here. Providing a comprehensive new standing orders. You'll be surprised the Parliament of Canada reached out to Parliament of Ghana to come and present our new standing orders as part of the illuminating materials for them to also improve on their standing orders. And we sent a team led by the outgoing clerk to do that presentation. And I can assure you that our contacts with them show that they will send even more people to come and learn from us, whilst we also learn from them. These are some of the interventions that have catapulted this parliament to be the first parliament that has been absorbed as an international affiliate member of the National Conference of State Legislators in the United States of America. The only other country or parliament that got that recognition is Quebec, whether they qualify or not. And so we have a place of pride in the International Council of the National Conference of State Legislators. And the outgoing or outgone majority leader and veteran member of parliament for Swami, who, together with my good self and the outgoing clerk, represented you in that international council, managed to arrange some interface between the parliaments in America and the parliament in Ghana. And so a lot of you will have the opportunity now to go and understudy the systems. I must say there are very different systems, even in the United States itself, while they will come here to understudy our system, and in doing so, build the capacity of each country's parliaments. We are also given the opportunity to have sister parliaments, and we reach out to the Parliament of Philadelphia, which will connect with us, and on an annual basis, we have exchanges, apart from the Parliamentary Friendship Association, with their good example of a museum, which is part of the information we gathered, together with the one in Japan, India, South Africa, and the rest, to model ours, which I referred to earlier on. So a lot has been done, and this year we are being assessed on the Open Parliament Initiative to see whether we still maintain our first position. Let me also say that such as public engagement, media relations, and broadcasting departments. I hear some people don't understand why we're talking about broadcasting, but I want to broadcast our proceedings live. We believe that this will ensure better parliament-citizens relationship and understand to the living standards of the people in this parliament. We have through this be able to open more student parliaments and parliamentary youth clubs in tertiary and second cycle institutions. Our websites, mobile applications, and also social and the new media platforms that are now, if you go there, you see how visible and vibrant the Parliament of Ghana is. In celebrating the 30th anniversary, 30th anniversary celebrations of the Fourth Republic Parliament, I was privileged to have continued also the Speaker's Breakfast Forum, and to add to it the Speaker's Seminar Lecture Series. This has brought a number of our professionals to assist Parliament and parliamentary diplomacy. I regret that due to some foot dragging, the friendship associations, parliamentary friendship associations, did not benefit much from this area evolving area of parliament. But we have still maintained Ghana's leadership in the Global League of Parliaments. And that is how come I was honored to assume the position of President of the Conference of Speakers and Presidents of African legislatures, all the Anglophone parliaments, Arab, Francophone, and Lusophone parliaments. You also recall my presidency as the head of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association International, which led to Ghana hosting the 66th conference of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. And this is the first time Ghana ever hosted this conference. And we had attendance from 182 parliaments in the Commonwealth. We had our veteran MP, Honorable Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, being elected to serve as the vice chairman of the executive committee of this international association. And this is the first in the history of our country. Honorable members, our clerk therefore had the opportunity to lead the clerks at table internationally, and together we work to sign, but also other parliaments in Africa and other countries. I may only mention just a few. We have with Hungary, Germany, Panama, and I'm happy to say that one of our sons, Kwamufi, yes, just a few days ago, and I think he's still around because he's coming for this transitional period. We also have with KwaZulu-Natal and Limpopo in South Africa. We have Alabama in the US. We have with Namibia and Tanzania. I also led delegations for us to establish some relationship with them. Future parliaments will benefit from all this work of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic. And so in conclusion, despite the many successful happenings within the past 4 years, our journey was not on discord, a natural consequence of our shared but sometimes divergent aspirations. From the logistical challenges of managing an even-numbered parliament, from the many unpleasant encounters with both the executive and the judicial branches, the resilience of our democratic architecture was measured. However, every challenge was an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to strengthen our democratic processes. Through it all, we have demonstrated that dialogue and mutual respect are indispensable to nation building. And I'll refer all of you to the second, to the University of Professional Studies, Accra, as to the process to building a nation. I've told the clerk's office to make copies available to each and every member of parliament. Honorable members, valedictory speeches are meant to serve as farewell communication. Hence, I bid this 8th Parliament and all its players, let us ensure the continuity of reforms. And in fact, we've established a reforms office here in Parliament. Let us preserve the gains of accountability, and let us foster unity across political divides. The strength of a nation lies not in the uniformity of its voices, but in the harmony of its differences. I urge the 9th Parliament to embrace the diversity of opinions and work collaboratively to address the pressing needs of our citizens. Leadership, as I have come to learn, is not about exerting authority, but it's about inspiring trust, enabling others, and championing the vision larger than oneself. Public service is different from self-service. And anybody who wants to engage in self-service, you better go to private sector. I am deeply humbled by the trust reposed in me to steer this August House during this historic term. To my colleagues, I am and counsel. Your diligence and professionalism have been the bedrock of our successes. And to the people of Ghana, led by the media, and I repeat, the media, thank you for keeping faith with us. As I bid farewell, I carry with me a treasure trove of memories, lessons, and relationships forged in the crucible of parliamentary service. I wish the incoming parliament wisdom, courage, and the enduring support of the Ghanaian people. May this House continue to shine as a beacon of democracy and a sanctuary of hope. Your role does not end with the casting of a ballot. Stay engaged. Hold your leaders. Some of us were so worried that, and I want to call on all of you, please stop watching so I will not go there. But it's important to rather watch what your leaders are doing than just focusing on games and leisure TVs. Democracy thrives when its citizens are active participants and not passive observers about us being citizens and not what? Spectators. As we look to the future, let us do so with faith in our collective strength. The journey of democracy is not just a continuous one, it's an unending one. Let us rise above our differences, united in our shared purpose of building a nation lies not in its wealth, but in the spirit of its people. May God continue to pour his blessings on our homeland Ghana, and may he continue to guide and sustain us on this noble path. Honorable members, may God bless all of you. I thank you for your lecture. Honorable members, please, let me do the last one. Resume your seats. Resume your seats.
Jay, what is your number? What is your number?
Mr. Speaker will be pleased. We may have some constitutional exercise here. Mr. Speaker, now that your valedictory speech is over, the question is whether or not it will be within the confines of law for a motion to be moved for this House to stand dissolved, or that. Mr. Speaker, I want to make a point. Mr. Speaker, please.
But Mr. Leader, we are in charge.
Mr. Speaker, no, Mr. Speaker, you have always been in charge, but we have to assist.